Good afternoon. My name is Ron Kneebone. I'm the Director of Economic and Social Policy Group in the School of Public Policy. One of our concentrations or research is in the area of affordable housing as it relates to the problem of homelessness. Homelessness is a problem that has bedeviled us for decades and resisted all attempts at elimination. For the most part, the way we've attacked homelessness is through government-directed initiatives in order to try to increase the supply of affordable housing. That has been largely unsuccessful, as you hear from Marion today. What this paper is about is trying to enlist and encourage the active participation of the private sector to bring its efficiency and innovative ideas to the problem of trying to increase the supply of affordable housing and in doing so eliminate homelessness.
Affordable housing is in fact housing with rents below market and where incomes of tenants are less than the median income. So they have modest incomes. Now, first of all, though, we have to start with a question about the multi-unit rental sector itself. We have to go back in history a bit. Well, since 1992, there has been a disappearance of about 1/3 of the multi-unit rental housing stock in Calgary, from over 56,000 units in 1992 to under 40,000 units right now. Now, Calgary also has a special problem, in fact, all Alberta has, that it's a boom and bust economy. And as a consequence of that, the rental market is also boom and bust. That results in a major decline in the living standard of certain people, those who are on fixed incomes, those who have slowly rising incomes like nurses and teachers who are not part of the boom economy. And most of all, it affects the most vulnerable people who can become homeless. Thinking about what to do, we look first of all what's going on elsewhere. And we see that in Canada, there's soft rent control. That's rent control where there's not a rent freeze, but rent increases are allowed. And in Ontario, soft rent control incorporates the ability of the landlord to take the rent up to market when a tenant moves out and a new tenant moves in. There was a 2-year soft form of rent control proposed for Alberta a couple of years ago, and that was rejected by Alberta. So that's off the table. Also in Canada, there are controls on condominium conversions. Those are in place in Toronto and in Victoria. We doubt that that would gain support in Alberta. And what do we find in the U.S.? When the U.S. had tax reform in the 80s, they introduced tax credits for the construction of multi-unit accommodation for those on modest incomes. And this program then has lasted through Democratic and Republican administrations in the U.S. for over 20 years. What does the tax credit do? It gives investors tax benefits for investing in this affordable housing, this modest housing. It is used by both nonprofit developers and for-profit developers. They both can apply. There is a set ceiling on the cost to governments because there are a set number of tax credits. Now, there's some other possibilities. First would be tax measures to get new landlords into the business of providing multi-unit rental. These measures would be aimed at multi-unit rentals, not landlords of rental condominiums or single detached houses. Then also we would have tax measures aimed at existing landlords to encourage them to keep multi-unit rental buildings in multi-unit rental rather than converted to condos. So, in conclusion, in the 70s and 80s, we had affordable housing provided by governments and by nonprofits. Here we propose to use the energy and efficiency of the private sector to, first of all, provide more multi-unit rental, and secondly, more affordable multi-unit rental.
Well, I think it's great news. I mean, if we're going to end homelessness in Canada or Calgary or anywhere else for that matter, we need to have the meaningful involvement of the federal government, as well as the province, the municipalities, and the private sector. And this brings the federal government, I think, and the private sector into affordable housing in a meaningful way, and I think that's brilliant.